Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 7:01 p.m. Maria, do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
We do. We have one adjustment tonight to add a nominee to item number 5 under teacher nominations. And that nominee is Ashby Bartkey, B17, $81,935 for a CRMS 8th grade math teacher.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments on items not on the agenda? Seeing none. Minutes. Can I get approval for the March 18th regular school board meeting minutes?
I'll move that, but I have a correction. One of the women who spoke to us,
Yes.
who sent us that letter, we spelled her name wrong in the minutes.
Oh.
We spelled it B-O-W-E-R, and it should be B-A-U-R.
Okay.
Just for the future reference. So I moved the minutes.
With that amendment.
With that correction.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Perfect. All approved. We have 2 teacher nominations. Can I get a motion to approve Jesse and Ashby?
So moved.
Second.
And just to let you know, their resumes are in the left-hand side of your folder.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Perfect. And then we have some continuing contracts, both continuing and second-year probationary contracts. Anything you need to say about those?
Nope.
Can I get a motion to approve the continuing contracts?
So moved. I can second.
All those in favor? Perfect. And then stipends. So there are 4 stipend nominations. There's one correction to a name that Rick sent by email earlier that we just need to fix, but otherwise I think they're all set.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have a question, Cricket, or voting?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was already voting.
I just wanted to make sure.
It's not autopilot.
All right, all those in favor? Perfect. All right, we've got through all those formalities. Now we get to do the fun part, the grade 4 ambassador program presentation.
All right.
We will need the TVs on for a slideshow.
See what I can do to make that happen.
In the closet thing?
Nope. Okay, that one went off. Are they on?
Yes.
Here, you can sit. 2 chairs that aren't being used, right?
Feel free to come in
Sit.
if you want to.
What do I need to do, Chris?
The Apple.
Have the apple one.
This is the foreground. Goes all order.
Just gonna keep pressing buttons till something happens. Our fill-in tech guy.
If you don't have the slideshow, that's okay. We can still speak without the slideshow.
To make you feel better, Bree, it was not a
It
obvious.
wasn't me. Abdicated all tech responsibility at home, so I have none anymore. It's gone.
Not certain it's gonna happen. Yeah, that's okay. We can move on without slideshows. Yeah, but I will share it with everyone.
Yeah, they'd love that. I know.
Pictures, to kind of shows the kids in action. So I just want to take a moment to frame the spirit of the program you're about to hear about. So the Crest Ambassador Program was created back in 2015, I'm told, by our fabulous guidance counselor, Sue Conover. So over the years, it has gone through many changes and revisions, but the core idea has remained the same. At its heart, this program is about giving students real responsibility within our school, not symbolic roles, but meaningful work that helps our school run and work that supports others. So because of that, I felt it was important that you hear directly from the students themselves tonight. They are the ones doing this work every day, and they are the best people to share what it looks like and what it needs. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our three tonight. We're going to have four. We have three fourth grade ambassadors.
Hi, I'm Rona Gagnon.
I am Henry Simon Norton, but you can just call me Hank.
Hello, I'm Elena Liberty.
And you're starting us off, right?
Good evening. We are fourth grade ambassadors at Crest, and we are excited to share how we help support our school.
A fourth grade ambassador is someone who represents our school, builds relationships, and helps support our school community.
As ambassadors, we are responsible and kind, and we work to make a positive difference in our school. We have different kinds of ambassador jobs in our school. We ambassadors help our school run smoothly. For example, we help with tech support on school archives and we create posters for events.
We support younger students by helping in classrooms and playing with students during recess.
Ambassadors also help take care of our school. We organize outdoor spaces, take care of our areas like the goggle pit, recycling, and keep our school clean. We also help people in our school and our community.
This program connects to our school's priorities. It helps build belonging, gives students leadership opportunities, and supports responsibility and independence.
It also helps create a strong school community where all students feel included and supported. This program shows that when students are trusted with real responsibility, they can make a meaningful difference in their school. It matters because it helps the community. When fourth graders do an ambassador job, like the PK job, they help inspire the young kids. I really like the community service with the church because every time we finished, we got a lot of thank yous. It made me feel warm inside. Ambassador jobs come with a lot of responsibility. You have to show up to your job every day.
I feel being ambassador can really be more rewarding than getting paid. The reward is the good feeling. I liked feeling seen and heard when I was an MC for the community meetings.
I felt good when I painted rocks. It felt relaxing. I helped set up the tables at the church. I felt helpful.
And that Rona was speaking for Ava, who couldn't be here tonight, but that was Ava's. So, just in closing, I wanted to, just take a moment to thank you guys for putting in the effort to not only to take on your regular ambassador jobs, but to come here and to take on this role, speaking in public, which is a big deal to speak in public, and you guys knocked it out of the park. So just thank you for sharing your thoughts and coming here tonight. And thank you for the families that brought them here tonight for making this work. I'm really proud of the leadership of our fourth graders that are showing every day these ambassadors and all the students in the school. It's a special thing to see students take care of the school. So there was a slide that had some stats on this. So 92% of the students at the school have taken on an ambassador job this year. And there's 16 different jobs that students choose from. And it's broken up into quarters. So we have like 4 different quarters of jobs that can happen. And this year there were a few new jobs that we added to the mix, and one of those was the community meeting job, and Hank is one of the MCs for those. So those community meetings happen every month, and so Hank and a few other the ambassadors run those meetings. So at the beginning of the year, I kind of ran the meetings, just kind of show people what they look like and feel like, and now it's the student job, and they do a great job with that. We're moving into the last part of the year, so the fourth quarter of the year of the ambassador jobs. And so these guys have put in their name for the next round of jobs, and we'll be finishing the year strong and entering 5th grade with a lot of skills and a lot of confidence. And we're open to any questions that you might have for the group. I told them that that might be something that happened after we present. People ask questions, put us on the spot. Happy to answer those.
I have a question. When do you do your ambassador jobs? Like sometimes it maybe just happens at recess because you're playing with a younger student. But if you're doing recycling, like when would you do some of those things? Do you have time in the day to do that?
You do your recycling job at 2:10 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the day.
Get the time.
Yeah, he does.
Who knows? But like sometimes it's before school too, right? It's depending on the job. Like pre-K helper is usually before school. Because I know you did that, Rona.
Yeah, so you gotta get there early for that.
Yeah.
It takes some time.
And MC is kind of just like anytime.
When the event is happening.
Yeah, we have those meetings and then we work out the scripts before the meeting and practice it, and then we go down before the show and practice with the microphone and do all that. So, can you guys tell them some of the other jobs perhaps, like maybe list off a few that come to mind?
Well, there's also the there's adult organizer.
There are just the jobs that just help all the younger students, like the
From second grade and down. And there's a gaga ball pit in our playground, and people volunteer to help clean out and push away the rocks.
It's good for safety.
Yeah, that's important.
What's the special Friday morning one that's going to be tomorrow morning?
Cape Crusaders.
Yeah, that's special.
Want to explain what that is?
So Cape Crusaders are basically people who deliver cakes to the younger kids, and cakes are gained when you get a crust fish, and when you get a crust fish by doing something good, and they put the crust fishes in like a bowl and pick a random one, and and the kids that got picked get a cape for either great responsibility, kindness, or self-control.
And it's not just the younger kids, it's from 4th grade. It's the whole school can be picked.
Yeah, but younger kids as in people in elementary school.
Yes.
That's an important job. Any other questions? Rick?
My question is, this can be any of you, whoever is quickest off the draw, raise your hand. Who has a good story about a time when it felt really good when you were able to help a younger student, whether it was, say, a kindergarten? There you go.
I felt really good when I was reading out loud to a few younger kids in my pre-K helper job.
Do you remember what book it was?
2 books. It was of Piggy and Gerald, and
Classic.
I didn't finish one of the other books I had to go, but I can't remember. It's something about a bear.
Something about a bear. Thank you.
Rona's been amazing.
I was just wondering, Mr. B said that most of the 4th graders participate, 92%. Is there like a selection process for getting to be an ambassador or getting to do different jobs?
Well, there's this little meeting in 4th grade, 2 classes at a time, and Mrs. B and Mr. B, they tell us like if there's new jobs, and then when we get to our classrooms, they hand out these little papers and you sign 1 through 3, and there's like a bunch of jobs. You put your first one that you really want to do, and then your second and your third, and then you might get selected for it, but usually all kids would get a job at different parts in the school year, and that's just how they kind of select it.
Yeah, the kids that, and it's not 100% because some of the kids have like opted out of doing those doing the jobs. Yeah, so that's, you're pretty much guaranteed of getting something during those 4 rotations. But 100% would be a good goal. next year.
Can you each tell me what your favorite job is? Or even if you haven't had it yet, what's the one you want the most?
Oh,
Nancy can go first.
that definitely has to be MC. I mean, like, I really like getting all the attention.
Perfect job.
I could see you being very good at that, so I can appreciate that. Owen?
I like recycling. I've done 3 times in a row.
Nice.
And he does a great job.
Great.
I really like helping out with the younger students, but I really enjoyed the pre-Kers. They made my day.
You're a teacher in the making, I
Yeah, I know.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, guys. This is the part where I tell you you do not have to feel obligated to stay for us to talk about budget and other things. We will not be offended.
I told them to. I was like,
I know.
Moving on to less exciting things, approval of the fiscal year 27 Camden Rockport Schools budget. Let's say anything about that, Maria?
Sure, the latest requested budget is in your packet, starting on page 9 of your packet. The changes that were made at the last board meeting are reflected in the budget. And the, so you'll see on the total expense page, which is on page 11, the second to last number on the right, 2.94. That's where the current expense budget is. And the overall taxpayer impact is at 2.33%. And that can be seen on the next page, on page 12, where the revenues are also outlined to give us the taxpayer impact, and then that requested budget is just listed again. And then the allocation for each town is on the next page. And the percent change for each of the towns that combined are 2.33%.
Any questions before we move to take a vote? Everyone? I don't see any questions. Can I get a motion to approve the budget?
Do I have to read this thing?
That's the next one, right?
I move that we approve the budget.
Which I have to find.
Second.
Your guess, Jamie, for that one.
I'm going with Sarah, she's closer.
All right. All those in favor?
Marcia didn't vote, was that on purpose?
I voted.
Sorry.
She did. She just put her hand
I'm
up.
really bad at this job, I hate this. Watch video already.
All right, item 8, vote to call and approve the warrants for the budget meeting and the budget validation referendum and to authorize the notice of amounts adopted. So I'm going to read the motion. I move that the vote entitled Vote to Call and Approve the Warrants for the Budget Meeting and the Budget Validation Referendum and to authorize the notice of amounts adopted be approved in form presented to this meeting and that a copy of said vote be included with the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? Yes. Board chairs report. The one thing I put in here and wanted to note is that we have our budget meeting on May 11th, which is a Monday. Our SAD 1 will be at 6 p.m. and then we'll move on to the CSD at 7 p.m. That's a really important meeting that we've been trying to help the public understand the importance of. So we have people come and vote to put everything forward. Maria, superintendent's report.
My report is in your packet. The annual report is going to be in mailboxes sometime in the next few weeks, which will be exciting in preparation for that May 11th budget vote. I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to highlight. I don't know if anybody had any questions for me.
I did want to ask you a little bit about going down to St. George,
Mm.
because that sounded really, really cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get down there since it opened. It's pretty impressive what they're doing with the CTE program in grades K through 8. The building is really well equipped. It had 3 separate rooms on the first floor and then actually had a basement, which was their makerspace was in the basement section. The upstairs section had some different rooms that had different names, but like one room had a bunch of workbenches with vices where kids did a lot of work. Like I saw a project that a 6th grader had done. I can't remember the name of the project, but you crank a thing and there's a wooden sailboat that goes up and down and there were waves kind of in the front and it was a multiple functioned thing that he had built. While I was there, kindergartners were there and they were working with blocks and they had made a dollhouse, a large dollhouse, and they were shingling the roof of that dollhouse.
Were they like little itty bitty shingles?
They were little itty bitty, they were, like a quarter of the size of a cell phone. So the dollhouse was, maybe like yay big. And I had a tour from 2 6th graders and a 4th grader. The 6th graders, we went into a room where a lot of the power tools were. And there was, a bandsaw, sanders, drill press, all kinds of different things. And those students who were really into this all use all that equipment on their own. So they've all been trained. They also, again, they were very eager, 6th grade boys in particular. And they, every Monday from 8 to noon, they get to choose going to the Innovation Center. So they're there for 4 hours every Monday. The kids who are kind of in their apprentice program. And then every student in the school has a STEAM class once a week. And the STEAM class also meets in the Grace Innovation Center. So they're doing a lot of really interesting projects. While I was there, Danny Solomon was there with his crew of former high school students. Maybe some of them are current, I don't know, but it was during the school day, so I'm assuming they've graduated. And they were building a shed out of reclaimed materials for the Innovation Center. So that was kind of a nice full circle moment for him to be there doing that with our former students. And they just have a lot of very interesting things going on. I also saw a project that a student who's graduated from high school now did at Midcoast. That was, I can't remember how many, like tens of thousands of spoons, I think. It was this dragon that, is sort of the dragon of St. George. Yeah. And it was made out of spoons and other things. It was absolutely amazing. So there are a lot of things. One of the things that I took away, I actually took some pictures of it because I thought it was a great idea. They had, I just think this is a great idea for all of our schools potentially to do, in addition to just what they were doing. Content-wise was great. But they also had posters up of a number of graduates from St. George, but the students had graduated from high school, highlighting what they were doing in their careers. They were all young, in their late teens or early 20s, highlighting what they were doing for a career and sort of the impact that their CTE programming had on them, which I thought was a really nice thing for younger students to be able to look at those posters and read and relate to kids who had gone to St. George and look at what they're doing now. So it was a really good visit, and I think what they're doing there is a great example of what you can do with quite young students, revolving around, learning how to do a lot of things with your hands and building and fixing and thinking about the trades.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Maria, are there parts, obviously they have a different facility, different programming, but are there parts of that do you think we should be paying attention to here and replicating here? I know Megan has been down there and I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I mean, Megan has been down there, and, you know, I think she's incorporated some of that. Katie would know better. You know, she's got that maker space. She has some tools. I think they're all hand tools that we've got down there. You know, I also thought it for our middle school age group. I do think that, I mean, like, it was clear the excitement in these sixth grade boys of the opportunities that they had to do something that was a little bit different. And I think, and actually it was two sixth grade boys and a fourth grade girl who were my tour guides. But I do think that there are opportunities for us to do things that might be a little bit less traditional than the traditional academic programming. Not that we're not. I mean, we do a lot of hands-on stuff, outdoor, PBL. We do a lot of stuff, but not a lot of it is focused on building and creating some of those things. I mean, I wouldn't say creating because we do create a lot of interesting things in our PBLs, but I do think that there's space for that. We've talked about it for years. I mean, Kate and I have had many conversations about an alternative program. I personally think at the K-8 level, some kind of alternative pathway for students for whom typical school just is not that well suited to them. And I think for some kids, programs like that save them in their schooling experience. I recognize we're a district that does a lot of things already, but I do think it is worth thinking about ways that those things could potentially be incorporated, you know, in some way, shape, or form, because I think it's pretty transformative for those kids who are at that school.
Marcus?
And just a note, I mean, they had a lot of great programming like this even before they built that center, right? So it can be integrated without having to go that extra mile in terms of what they built, which expands it more obviously, but just so it can be done for regular school too.
Yeah, I mean, when we built the middle school, we built a maker space that's adjacent to the library that I think could be more fully utilized for its intended purpose, that could address some of that need as well.
All right. Moving on, administrative reports. Jamie Stone.
I have a report in the packet. There's a lot there. I'm happy to answer any questions. I didn't look at it before I said this because I'm taking notes. Rick?
I saw the bullet point about the MOU with People Place. Can you just elaborate on that, please?
So I'm glad you said that because that's changed since the last I wrote this. I'm just scrolling through a couple documents. Hold on a second. At the bottom, we finalize. We hit the threshold. Yes, so we have, since this was written, hit the threshold of students needed to have an MOU. So I'm meeting with Sessa tomorrow actually to go over the MOU. And I think she's got a few questions about some things, and the hope would be to sign it and move forward. And we would have 4 slots at People Place next year for students that we would work to place. And maybe we'll fill all those spots. Maybe we'll at least fill a couple of them. It will depend on the needs of the families and also the needs of the students.
Okay, and under the MOU, I know that there's what early discussions reflected, but will this be a per student charge, or is it, okay.
So in the first year, we agreed to hold 4 slots. The slots are each about $15,000, so it's a $60,000 cost to hold that space. So if students move in to the district after we've begun and we are full, then we would be also able to take an empty spot. We might still have a People Place for a student. The expectation being that we would be able to offer universal pre-K, so house any student who is in our school system who meets the criteria and comes to us at any time.
Okay, so if a 5th student came in, it would be another $15,000 would go to People Place?
If we had no space, we could consider that, yeah.
Right, I'm sorry. The placement that would, a new person came in and we couldn't handle them in-house at Crest. And every additional student, in other words, at Peter
Every
Place.
student is a $15,000 cost, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have built-in buffer in our own classrooms. So it's not as though we're full and we're using those and anyone else would need to add on to that. We're full with built-in buffer for new students coming in.
Thank you.
Jamie, I had a question about your first bullet under the experiential goal 2, where you met with some of the local curriculum leaders from neighboring districts, and obviously the declining enrollment piece came up. I'm just curious if there's any takeaways you can share, maybe beyond the obvious, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my takeaways were many of our neighboring districts are in a much more dire situation than we're in. They are talking about Belfast, talking about closing schools. I mean, so we were having conversations about how people are managing that change and the communication plans. We also talked a lot as the curriculum and instruction people about alternative models of instruction. So when you go from, like in the middle school, a typical 4-person team, you can go to 2-person teams or humanities teachers instead of separate social studies and literacy. So we talked a lot about the models in the different schools. And then, you know, that delicate conversation about, you know, how many students do we decline before administrative leadership structures change at the school level? Because Belfast is really going through that right now with their closures, because they're talking about like one administrator possibly overseeing multiple schools. And so, and often assistant superintendents are supports to those people. So we're just talking about like how far is too far before you can't maintain the level of quality and support that's needed at the school level. So it was good to hear other people's strategies and how they're handling things, and their cuts are significantly large and large numbers of positions and school closure, building closures. So maybe, I mean, my thought about that is like we need to do a good job in projection. I think we should be talking to our staff about, you know, we have some people who are clear about their retirement plans and see where there's opportunities for people to, you know, for us to capitalize on that instead of having to eliminate positions at times. And it doesn't always work out, but I think it's a good thing to talk about, you know, in the next couple of years and then long-term, next 5 years. So,
Yeah, just a note that I think is important for the board to know. It's looking very likely that kindergarten enrollment will be significantly less than we anticipated it being for the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. So I personally think we need to be bracing for a larger enrollment decline than I have been projecting. And it's just something to keep in mind that I just think we do have new housing going in, which could offset some of the decline we've experienced, but we are anticipating, you know, my best guess is that we'll probably be around 35 instead of 45 incoming for the next couple of years. You know, over time, I mean, if that were true, over time, that's 50 fewer students predicted at the elementary school, which is in the low 200s. I mean, that's half almost of, I mean, not quite half, but probably, you know, 60 to 65% of where we were. It's pretty significant.
While I have the mic, can I ask one more question? Jamie, it looks like you met with Colin, and this may not be related to what's in your report, so you could say table it. But, you know, I've just sort of been following very loosely like the iReady lawsuits, and of course there's the whole Chromebook backlash, and I'm just curious whether you and he or you are thinking about, one, any privacy questions that we have around the technology and the programs that our students use, and whether we need to sort of re-inventory those and make sure everything is good. And then two, just, I don't know, how that's playing into how you're thinking about use of technology in our schools.
sure. Do you want to speak to that, or do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking first, Colin.
Thanks.
Colin basically approves all technology tools before we use them. So in our adoption and exploration of some of even the AI tools. Like when I went to a conference, I come back, I see some things, I go to him and I say, are there appropriate privacy agreements? So there are steps there. One of the challenges is everybody has a computer, everybody has an email who works for us, and sometimes people jump and get into things before. But staff have had, review of the policy and training around, like, we don't ever use private student information. Students aren't allowed to sign up for and use AI related tools, again, without some type of clearance at the district level. Can we guarantee that does not happen ever for an individual student? I think that's probably impossible. There are a lot of firewall systems that Colin has put in place. And it takes maybe 24 hours to give us an answer on a tool specifically. He's very thoughtful. I also would say we're not looking to grow the use of technology tools without a lot of analysis. I think we're not in the space of, trying to replace instruction with technology. We are at the middle and the high school level looking a little bit into more of the self-paced intervention tools that students need, especially in mathematics, which is probably the one piece I brought back from an AI Institute. And then the team that went this past week to Portland have already come back with some ideas and questions. For the most part, people are pretty thoughtful about what we're putting in front of students. If anything, I think our teachers are more of our users right now. And if it makes their life more efficient, that's excellent. But we're not trying to replace instruction at this time. So, and part of the hope with the group that went to the AI conference was just to have a group of teachers who are, on the ground with kids, being able to talk with us about our policies and our practices as things are moving fast. Are we considering them as they move fast? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right, Jess Yates, Special Ed Director.
Good evening. My report is in your packet. Just a couple things to highlight. We are looking for an ed tech in our day treatment program at Crest. So we have had kind of a slowdown in candidates lately. So if you know anyone, send them our way. Also, we had a team of folks from Crest, the middle school, and actually our high school attend an inclusive education conference in Augusta in early April. And it ended up being a really fabulous experience for the team. And I just wanted to share some of the comments that they brought back, because they felt like it was, number one, very validating about some of the inclusive work that we're already doing. They also felt that they gained some really helpful tools to facilitate inclusion, universal design for learning, data collection, and different strategies. And then they actually also were able to make connections with one another. So, for example, our life skills teacher at Crest got to attend a session with our life skills teacher at the middle school, and they don't often have opportunity to just sit and talk and learn together. And that was equally as valuable, I think, as the conference content, and gave me some ideas for how to bring our team together in different ways over the course of the school year to facilitate their learning and increase continuity between programs. So I thought that was really fabulous. I also just wanted to update you on pre-K. We're engaged in hiring and posting of those positions, and we are getting applicants, which is super exciting. We're starting to process all of the stuff that we have ordered from those state funded dollars for supplies and equipment. And I just need to send out a public shout out to Heather Mackey, who took hundreds of boxes and made them into classrooms and organized them. It's just fabulous. So grateful. I don't know how we would have done it without her help. And then also I just wanted to note that we're starting to have pre-K kids come out of the woodwork. We get a report every month from CDS about the children that they anticipate that we're getting. But we are hearing about other children from other districts. And one thing I noted, Katie, I kind of figured out that one of the issues in the process is there are other districts who are in cohort 1 who are not involved with CDS for this age range of children. And so sometimes there are children attending their programs who would end up here just due to, placement considerations or the like. So we're getting notifications from those districts about children who are not on our original list. So there's a lot of moving of children in parts and pieces at this time. So we're watching that carefully in terms of our projected staffing model. And we have scheduled transition meetings for pre-K students and then for incoming kindergartners in the beginning of May. And that will give us a better sense of level of need and numbers at that time. But I anticipate it will be a fluid conversation right up until the start of school and perhaps beyond.
So are those kids that don't necessarily live in the district, but
So,
other schools
right,
wanna
so
send
there-
their kids?
So there are a couple of children who, for example, we learned about who are attending programs in RSU 13, which is a cohort 1 group, who actually have residents here. So we will take on responsibility for those kids. So I just get emails very frequently lately about those things. And then I share them with Katie so she knows to see if she's heard of them. So I mean, it's just one of those things that we're making sure that we're, counting everyone and getting as much information as we can so that we can be prepared for them in the fall.
Does the students you just referenced, does that change my recollection of the projection of maybe 6 to 8 students who would have IEPs or
Right.
special education services?
So we had, and on the other side of it, some of the children we know about are not showing up because they are moving as well. So I would say probably with the 2 incoming, we're netting 1 because we had another child move. So we are kind of increasing a little bit, but not such that we need to suggest a staffing model change at this time. But if we get lots of others, perhaps we would need to talk with the state about additional resources.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jess. Jake Geisman from the middle school, who's very fashionable today.
Thank you. It is Wacky Wednesday at Spirit Week at the middle school, and I had intended to change, but that didn't play out in the cards.
We appreciate it nonetheless.
I feel like I orated a lot last month, so I'm not going to say much, but I'll take questions. A couple of corrections. Our enrollment is now 344. There was an additional 6th grader added since I sent this to Lewis, and I refer to Teacher Appreciation Week. We celebrate it as Staff Appreciation Week because all of our people are super important.
I want to know more about the muffin.
Oh, the muffin. Oh, I will say the 2 that I thought were the best were the ones that won, so I may actually have a decent palate. The winners were jalapeno cornbread on the savory category and strawberry chocolate coconut in the sweet category.
Fascinating.
Wow, that's a hard combination.
It was really good. Yeah.
Good. Rick.
I just saw the list of the upcoming outdoor visits.
Yeah.
Fondly remembering Kiev and all that. Yeah. When do those actually happen? Each one of those.
Okay. Kiev is the week after vacation, and the others are late May, early June. In fact, we calendared out the week that includes June 10th on a whiteboard, and it is fearful to look at the number of events happening on each day.
Well, hopefully you get good weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
Katie, this is soft.
It's really all of it when you look at it in combination. No one item by itself would.
So I got a text from Chris Finelli yesterday at 7:30 in the morning that says, "Where's Heather? The boxes were supposed to arrive at 9:30, came at 7:30." That was 101 boxes of stuff, of furniture for these pre-K rooms. So to say that Heather has been instrumental, because she's already done the whole other loads that have come, that have filled the old special ed office and took care of this yesterday. So we owe her a gift for sure. It's interesting just to comment on the pre-K piece. as Jess said, it is incredibly fluid and you don't want to kind of nail it down, and it's clearly not going to get nailed down. And just the ordering alone that we did with the state, which was incredibly generous on their part, was so overwhelming that, and then Jess and I did that ordering. And then the volume that's coming in and getting the reimbursement from, there's so many steps. So obviously money is not free. We know that. There's a lot of effort in this. It's exciting, and have worked out the logistics of how things will be delivered finally this summer to get rooms set up. But it's been a lot, and it was exciting. We had 2 more people sign up yesterday, so that too is quite fluid. I have talked to you a lot about Saï Play, and I'm seeing Heather Bowen here. They had their last session of Saï Play, which, if you recall, is the research project out of Bowdoin. Do you want to say anything about it, Heather? Because you were pretty instrumental in being a part of it. This has been a 2-year cohort for this group, and I last year got to participate a whole lot more than I did this year. But just in terms of the science it brought in for
it just gave us such a beautiful lens of looking at children's play at this age level, 4 and 5 years old, and how you can still fit these bits of play into the NGSS and see how creative, how clever, how interesting these children are. And I've known that for years, but now I can actually fit it into categories of the NGSS and say, oh, I can see exactly what's happening here. I would love to have a little presentation for you later. We've got some beautiful slides and a little video. So at some point, I'd love to do the whole thing for you all, because it's been an absolutely enriching experience. And it's given me a lot to think about.
And for people who have not been as involved in the outdoors, because we've had other teachers involved, they're just like, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can do that. And I think a lot of this year was, how do you observe what kids are doing and see and tweak it just a little bit so that you're getting more out of the science piece has been really, really powerful. When I ran into pre-K today, I was coming out and they were coming back, and they come running out and they go, we found scat! We got a pile of bones here, and the bones come up, and they're just so tuned in and engaged. It's really, really lovely, and it plays out in kindergarten and 1st grade and in 2nd grade as they move through. As Jamie mentioned, we're really refining the PD for EL next year, working hard. We found a model that worked very well for us. It was sort of towards the end, which is to have the coach come for 2 days back to back. One, it's cheaper because we're not paying for their travel, and then to have them do walkthroughs with us in the morning, and then they see what's happening in that moment in the classrooms, and then they go and coach at each grade level. So we have arranged for 4 sets of that, which next year, which I think will be super powerful, and teachers, are feeling much more confident that they were. And so I wanted to share, if you're in the building, this is the 4th grade deep sea discovery, and they have made, and I'm sure you've seen them.
Mm-hmm. I was there today.
Yeah, this unbelievable mural up on the 4th grade wing that they built. It was a residency with an artist, so they've built the creatures out of cardboard, and then they've done their research with it, and they have QR codes up. It's really, really stunning. The pictures don't do it justice, but encourage you to come see. And they already have plans for, how can we make it more extensive next year. And finally, I just want to share with you a couple things, because the rest of the information is right here. Adam and I got a chance we had a child today who shared a movie that he made with his family, and it was about his autism and what it's like to have autism. And he invited us and his class and shared this just such a touching video of what that is. And then the series of questions that kids, well, what does it feel like? What is it like? Can you have a choice of having autism? It really was a remarkable experience to see this little fellow do that. And I think, and Sue Connor was instrumental in having this, as was the family, and they wanted to share it with the kids. And it just was that moment where I was like, oh, this is so organic, and having a child share that piece and kids be curious. And it was really lovely. So it was a nice second week. It was a really beautiful opportunity. Do you have any questions on stuff? Yes, Sarah?
May I ask what grade the student was in?
It was a third grade.
To be making a movie like that at that level, I guess, with the help of the parents is a really interesting concept, I guess, for a third grader.
Yeah, and I think it came out that, the parents had joined the autism support group, and I think it was partly the suggestion, why don't you do this? And portrayed it all as my strengths. Like, do you know that I hear better than you do, I see better than you do. So everything was that, but it was the piece of watching the other children respond and be so curious. Basically, they wanted to get into his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you. We've lost my. Here we go. Standing committee reports. Joint curriculum is meeting May 5th. Finance met March 18th. Minutes attached, and then met before this meeting.
Yes, fiscal year 26 general fund. Our target's based on 20 of 26 payrolls through March 31st. Target was to have spent 76.9% of the budget, and we have actually spent 71.5% of the budget. Last year, same period, 72.5% of our budget. And should we talk about the health insurance or?
Mention it.
Okay. Health insurance came in. It was budgeted for an 11% increase, with the actual increase of being 10.5%.
Point of celebration, even though it's a
Some
lot of money.
So party with the half percentage. Might be able to buy us a pizza or two.
Joint facilities met March 16th. Minutes attached.
Just one thing I wanted to add. There's not much other than what's in the minutes, but one piece I wanted to highlight. That you look under paragraph 3D, the first bullet there about the SAD talks about the outflow. There's been some ongoing issues with erosion, basically where the baseball field basically comes to a very steep hill, and then below it is the area that leads down to the swampy part of the river. Chris took me and showed me what that was, and basically it's the idea is to, with some combination of riprap and some other technology, to prevent the erosion from continuing. But he also informed that he's been in communication with the town, and the planning department is supportive and is going to do everything they can. So moving forward, hopefully we don't lose more dirt.
That'd be exciting to have
Maureen,
a
is that the
solution.
same area that we had a lot of erosion when we were building?
Yep.
Same area?
We've had
The town
to,
find us, or they wanted to find us.
we had to redo it because the solution that we originally had wasn't effective because there was just so much water coming through there. So it's taken a while to finally get a solution that hopefully will work. But yes, it is the same slope.
Apparently it's going under the ground. There's like a whole channel under what you would see. So if you're looking out there when it's rainy, you don't see like a deluge. It's like next level down.
Joint personnel met March 24th. Minutes attached. Becky, you're up again. I think.
Yeah.
Approval of job descriptions.
Yeah, we got the job descriptions. Going.
Anything you want to say about any of them?
No, we went through
Maria or
them.
Jamie? Or I said Maria or Jamie could.
We went through them with the at CSD level, and I move that we accept the changes.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Joint policy, Marcia.
Yeah, we just have second reads to move. So I will make the motion that we accept the second reads. The policies as listed.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, we have some future agenda items. In May, spring behavior trends at Crest, and then CRMS community partnerships.
I'm wondering if Heather wanted to do May as
Pack that
well.
in. Would you be able to do it in May?
Just like, what did I
Third
volunteer
Wednesday.
Yeah.
for? Sounds great.
All right, and with that, we are adjourned at 7:56.